Trials, a game mode that is both highly flawed and absolutely awesome at the same time, in my humble opinion. My friends and I PvP for about 95% of the time we're in the game. Hell, before Bungie had even announced the return of Trials, these friends of mine constantly preached the gospel of past Trials events. With the unbelievable amount of hype surrounding the game mode, and having never actually experienced the Trials of yesteryear, I was sincerely intrigued and wanted to give it a look myself. Hell, as Bungie once said, it's essentially the in-game for PvP players. And PvP is totally my thing, so join me as I go over my initial experiences with Trials and see what all I have to say about the experience as a whole. If you can't make it all the way to the end of the video, feel free to share your own Trials experiences thus far this season in the comment section down below. Alright, so prior to the season kicking off, I had two primary concerns regarding Trials. Number one, if Trials was going to be as sweaty as everyone was expecting it to be, would we essentially end up with around 99% of the player base running around with nothing but Mountaintop and Recluse? I say Mountaintop Recluse mainly because the horrors of Hardlight hadn't really been discovered yet at this point. And number two, hacking. Enough said, basically, right? Hacking was getting worse leading up to the season, and Bungie seemed, and continues to seem, 110% incapable of handling the hacker situation. I mean, technically before this season, I had seen hackers every once in a blue moon, but for one reason or another, hacking, as of late, appears to have gotten completely out of control. Bungie seems to be doing their absolute best, and I commend them for that, but it's just not working, whatever they're doing now. That being said, let's start at the beginning of the season. So problems began to surface almost immediately when I noticed that my light levels just wasn't going to cut it. Now look, I'll admit, as an individual with an actual day job, I had honestly yet to acquire the amount of time needed to just grind my ass off before Trials. Sure, during my first few Trials matches, I managed to get a few kills in, and yes, we won a round or two, but ultimately I was politely asked to step aside and leave the team, as essentially I was dead weight. Oh, and while we're on the topic of light level advantages, do allow me to go over one of my biggest gripes with Trials thus far. Everyone loves to go on and on about how this in-game PvP event truly tests our skills against the best of the best. Sure, fine, why not? The problem is that I don't believe that light levels should be a factor in all this. I don't think light levels should have a damn thing to do with this mode. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there's just nothing all that skill-based about being 100 light levels above your opponents, allowing you to sneeze in the opponent's direction, wiping out their entire team in one fell swoop. When I get killed by someone in Trials, I want to know that it was due to actual skill and experience and just damn good teamwork, rather than they had more time available to them, allowing them to grind their asses off and ultimately have a higher light level. I mean, that's just my opinion. It seems like there's a lot of individuals that strongly disagree with this opinion, but I digress. After that first week, and the first week, to be honest, was fairly short. I think I may have attempted 4 rounds of Trials and then called it a day, mostly again due to the light level difference, but ultimately I skipped a week or two of Trials as I had somehow managed to catch some sort of cold, thankfully not the virus that shall not be named, thanks YouTube. So that made catching up all that much more fun. Yes, that is sarcasm. My second week in Trials took place within Widow's Court. My light level was still lacking at this point, but I did my best. At this point, it became painfully obvious that I was going to need to find a dedicated group of friends to run with. That's a bit of a problem, as I frankly don't have all that many friends that like PvP, and the friends that I do have that really do enjoy PvP tend to already have their own dedicated groups. Also, I stream whenever I run Trials, so LFG just simply isn't an option. LFG can be an absolute cesspool. It's interesting. So during my second week of Trials, we did relatively well. The biggest issue was that Bungie had decided to move the sniper rifle reward from the 3rd slot, I believe, 3rd or 5th, all the way down to the 7th win. So that means that it went from being relatively easy to unlock to suddenly being, well, way more daunting of a task to accomplish, especially with complete strangers and stuff. It's interesting. Hackers at this point in time also appeared to become incredibly more aggressive and far more obvious. In other words, they weren't even trying to hide. Third week of trials took place in Cauldron. I actually liked this map. Most of the public, not so much. I'm not really sure why, but it's fair. Everyone has their own favorite map and maps that they don't like. Everyone's welcome to their own opinion. I personally thought the map was actually quite fun, especially within the confines of trials. It was during my third week of trials that I ran into a serious problem that had me actually raging during my stream. My hunter acquired some sort of armor bug, so basically he was out of commission that week. Now you might be thinking, "Oh noob, how long did it ultimately take you to get it fixed? A few hours? A day?" Nope! This issue was not resolved until 7 days later. So on Friday, Bungie announces, look, if you have this bug, you're not going to be able to run that character in trials. I mean, you can go into trials, but you're not going to get anything out of it. And it's not going to be fixed until next Friday. So 7 days later. Still not entirely sure why it took 7 days to eventually fix, but yeah, it was fun. This ultimately made it so that I had to spend a lot of time grinding my ass off that weekend, attempting to get my Titan, which I never play, brought up to speed as far as his light level goes, and make him viable so he could run trials. I had pretty much spent all my free time working on getting my hunter brought up to the necessary light level, so that was a lot of fun. Fast forward a little bit to my fourth week of trials, and this took place in the Rusted Lands. I ran into trials at this point, finally with a respectable enough light level, which allowed me to be fairly effective. So we're in the Rusted Lands. I grabbed two of my acquaintances, and they did great. Better than great. We got all the way to the 7th game, no defeats, and yeah, then some drama took place. To put what I'm about to say into context, I was only doing trials at this point for the shotgun. You needed 7 wins. Doesn't matter if it's flawless or not. It just has to be 7 wins in order to get the shotgun or unlock the shotgun. And you also end up ultimately receiving the shotgun. Neither here nor there. We get to the 7th win and lose. Fair enough. The other team was good. No big deal. Then, like I said, we ran into some drama, and that drama still hasn't really worked itself out. My team kind of bailed on me. Drama ensued. That is that. Ultimately, I was unable to get the shotgun that night. I had 1 win left. I saved it, held on to it, and decided I would try to find 2 different people to join me the next evening. And yeah, these 2 individuals were 2 friends of mine, Beast the Sheep and Scat Cat. They're both quite legit in PvP, and I knew they would actually stick around. We won, I unlocked the shotgun, and my role was pretty much meh. Wasn't that good. What's truly fortunate about that night is that after that first win, the next 4 games were completely ruined by beaver error codes. The beavers were everywhere, and they were out for friggin' vengeance. When you get beavered, you get a loss. And had that crap started during our first game that evening, I simply would have lost by default and would have had to reset my card and then go back to trying to get 7 wins. So this all brings me to the present. My 5th week of trials is yet to come. I have some serious concerns about the future of this game mode, and with Bungie putting so much emphasis on this game mode for this season, I'm truly concerned. So with all the negativity out of the way, what did I like? Well, in its current form, I kind of feel like, how Mortal Kombat brought together all of the different realms, best fighters, brought them all together, and they just had at it? That's kind of how I feel Trials is. It's like you take the best players and every weekend throw them together, let them just go absolutely nuts trying to kill one another. It's a good time. The Trials game mode, in my opinion, has a very epic feel to it. There is a ton of potential. So you have this badass Mortal Kombat kind of feeling. I know it's a weird reference, but it's epic. Much better sense of reward when you win. Basically, like if you win a comp round, it's great. Nothing wrong with it. It feels good. There's something just so much more rewarding, in my opinion, when you win against a team in Trials. I also like the gear. I know I've seen a lot of people criticize Bungie for the gear. I think overall, it's fine. Does any of it blow my mind? No, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That being said, I do have a few issues, and I've already mentioned several of these, but here are the things that are concerning me the most. As I stated earlier in the video, I legitimately do not like the light levels affecting gameplay. If Trials is to be a test of skill, then yeah, they need to remove the light level advantages, as there's honestly nothing skillful about having more free time. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. And then there is hacking. If for some reason Bungie cannot get the hacking under control, then there literally is absolutely no point in Trials. You're constantly wondering, was that shot legit or were they hacking? Are they just an amazing player or is that entire team filled with hacks? Beavers. This error code will kill the damn game. I full stop. I mean, everyone's already ranted about it. There's not much more to say. The fact that it gives you a loss when it happens too. It's honestly infuriating. So yeah, look, I think that Trials has a ton of potential. I'm having fun, which is ultimately the goal, so I guess they're succeeding at something. I think ultimately Bungie really needs to just kind of have a coming to Jesus meeting with all their staff and try to figure out how to fix this. My name is Lone Noob. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you've made it to this point of the video, then God bless you. Let me know how your experiences have ultimately played out thus far inside of Trials. Beyond that, you know the drill. Like if you like the video, downvote the ever-living hell out of it if you hate the video, and subscribe if you would like to see more content from yours truly. Take care, and until next time, I'm Lone Noob. Insert catchy catchphrase here? Why the hell did I put that in the script? Oh, damn it! I forgot to come up with a catchphrase!